I like the futon.
You don't even sit on the futon. It's all good though.
So what?
Okay. All right, we're recording. Okay.
Love and happiness. Yeah. Something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah.
Nothing like a little Al Green to get us started today.
Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Talking about how she can make it right. Yeah. Yeah. Happiness is when you really feel good about somebody. There's nothing wrong being in love with someone. Yeah. Oh, baby. Love and happiness. Love and happiness. Love and happiness. Love and happiness. Oh.
We'll be together. Yeah.
All right, that's enough Al Green for one day.
All right.
Dang, I love
So Al Green is the best. So thank you. Welcome everybody. This is the Tay and Tristan Hour. So we have officially changed the name.
Change the name, yes.
I believe in our last podcast episode, we had mentioned that it may take us a little while, but obviously it only took us about a week.
Yeah, to come up with the simplest of names. It took us hours of thinking about a name, and I landed on the Tay and Tristan Hour.
Yes.
So
After I said, I just want to use Shantae, and I ended up going back to Tay.
yeah, it's just too long of a name.
My first name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a unique name, but, whatever.
It is, but
Tay is perfect. It's got a perfect ring to it. Tay and Tristan.
the two T's.
Yeah.
The two T's.
That's
Okay.
That's corny.
No. Well, I'm corny. I'm the corny mother.
The two T's.
Then why are you smiling? You liked it.
I guess so.
So yes, this is the Tay and Tristan Hour. And all right. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who has begun to follow us on Spotify. So thank you so much.
I'm one of the followers.
That's okay. That's okay. There's two others. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And then also wanted to let you guys know that we're on several streaming platforms. So we are on Spotify, of course, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and then we're also on YouTube as well.
Yes.
And we've just started a Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
That is titled Tay and Tristan Podcast.
Yes.
So go and check that out. Just created that page a couple days ago. So yeah, that's anything you want to add?
No.
No. Oh, yes, the times. Sorry. The times that we are broadcasting. Okay. Just a reminder that we release new episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That's right.
So just check into that. So, okay. Now, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Thank you.
You're welcome very much. So I guess I'll segue into, I kind of have been in this, wanting to be in this positive mindset lately. And so I have a quote that I would like to share from the African American poet Maya Angelou. Okay. And the quote goes, "If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain." It's my quote for the day.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
You weren't listening.
No, I'm sorry.
Just
Say it.
like a child.
I just want to feel it.
If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
I always say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very positive though too. And it's very simple, but at the same time challenging for a lot of people to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. How do you change something you don't like?
Well, you just have to not worry about what you can't control.
Yes.
If you can't control it, then there's nothing you can do about it. Why worry? That's where you have to change your attitude about your perception of things.
Yeah.
Don't complain about things you can't control.
Yes. But we complain every day
Yeah, of
about
course.
things that just are very frustrating. I just I take into consideration the political climate that we're living in right now. Constant stream 24/7 news. It's just
Yeah, but it's so easy to unplug from that, though. You don't have to pay attention to that. There's a real life that you can live outside of that, not worried about everything that's happening
very
in the
true.
world.
Yeah, I agree. It is. But we allow it in. So even kind of going on that, how easy is it for you to unplug from your phone? News, things. How easy is that to do?
It's not easy, but I don't get sucked into the trap of a lot of people just use the internet for outrage. They're just looking for something to be angry at, or they want to berate people and attack them for their opinions and beliefs. But it's just entertainment to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily feel a need to unplug, at least not because of that.
Yeah.
I don't go on the internet to complain about things.
No, I don't anymore. I used to do that back in the day on Facebook.
Oh my God.
And and I would and it was specifically around the 2007-2008 election cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're kind of on the cusp of electing the first African American president, there were a lot of people online at that time that were not. They would say things on Facebook, and I would engage in that. And the one thing I recognized is when you're engaging in or kind of feeding off of other people's toxicity
Mm-hmm.
and chaos, it causes a lot of stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
And I've definitely have learned over the years just to take life in just a different, more positive perspective. That's kind of how I have to live that. So when I saw this quote yesterday, I was like, it's very simple, but it's definitely one of those that is challenging, I think, every day for people to do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I try not to complain. I always try to have a positive spin on every life situation. And we're just living in a time now where, it doesn't matter what people do or say. There's always, something that people don't like. And people get offended easily.
Yeah,
these days.
for sure. Yeah, that's because of the internet. There's so many things to be offended at.
Yeah, but I think people take them personally. You know, I think people take it too. I think people take some things too personally. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people, but I think just getting older has changed a lot of that in me. I just probably don't
Yeah,
care.
me too.
You're 23.
I think
You have an old soul, maybe.
that's what I was about to say. I think I have an old soul. People tell me that too.
You're very laid back.
People have always thought I was older than I am.
How old did they think you were?
I don't know, not 20, in my early 20s. A lot of it is because people think I look older, not because of how I act.
How do you feel
But
about
because of that too.
how do you feel about people thinking you're older
I
than
don't
what you
know.
look?
I don't know. I had to volunteer one time. Do you remember when I was volunteering at Ozark Food Harvest
Yeah.
in Missouri? Because
Yes.
I got into some trouble, and it was my idea. And
Yes.
and I told them I was like, I think I was 17. They were like, "You're 17? Oh my God! I thought you were almost 30." Like, what? Almost 30? Shoot,
Oh my.
it's crazy. Thank you. Like, there's no way I look that old.
I don't know. Maybe it's sometimes it's not. Sometimes I don't think it's the way that you. Sometimes I don't think it's the way that you like physically. I think it's the way that you portray yourself and your attitude towards things that makes it you appear older.
I guess so. My girlfriend has said that too. She said she forgets that I'm 23.
How old does she think you are? Sometimes in her mind.
Like close to her age, like mid 30s.
And how old is your girlfriend?
I don't want to put her business out there, but
You can at least say her age.
she's in her late 30s.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
mid late 30s. Yeah,
so there's probably like a 14-year age gap between you guys.
about 13 years.
Oh, damn, I was close. Wow. I was only one off. I was just guessing.
13 and some months.
Okay.
But yeah,
So then that's a great segue into our topic, right? That's what's on our whiteboard. Okay. So we're going to be talking today about healthy relationships. What makes a healthy relationship? Maybe kind of what the differences are between dating, like when it was, I was your age, and then how it is now. And is it more difficult to find to date, like with people your age, around your age? Like, what is your perspective? People in their late teens, early 20s. What is your perspective on dating and relationships?
well, I don't know any of this from personal experience. I'm in a relationship. I'm just speaking generally, but I wouldn't say that it's harder necessarily. It's kind of become too easy, to be honest.
Okay.
Because of dating apps, you always have access to people, whether it's
Right.
on the internet or dating apps or whatever.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
just swipe right all day. Somebody's gonna match with you, and
Tell me what the swipe right is.
what do you mean? What the swipe right is?
I don't know. Like
What do you mean?
You
What's
have,
the swipe right?
you have to remember that I have been in a relationship with someone for
Yeah, but like,
almost 21 years. I have not dated since before you were even like in the 4th grade. That's how long me and Johnny have been together. So I don't know anything about swipe right. Is there a swipe left?
oh my God, swipe. Listen,
I'm
when you
serious.
use something like Tinder, I think they might have been the first ones that had that feature, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Basically, you create an account, put all your information in there or whatever,
Yeah.
what you're interested in, the kind of people you're interested in,
Yeah.
and then it'll show you like a picture, like it'll pop up. There'll be a picture of a person, and they'll have their age and their name and a little profile or whatever. And if you like them, then you swipe right.
Okay.
But if you don't like them, then you swipe left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And if you both swipe right on each other, then that's a match.
So it's basically a digital form of people writing notes saying, "Do you like me? Mark yes or no."
No, it's more like
You-
it's mostly for whores now, I think.
Oh, Tristan, don't say that.
I'm just saying.
God.
I'm just saying. It's mostly for.
How are people going to think we've raised you?
Listen,
You saying things like that.
listen. No offense to anybody. There's nothing wrong with being a hoe. I don't think. You can do what you want, but what I'm saying is, it's mostly just for hookups now.
Not for finding long-term committed
Yeah,
relationships.
Yeah, most of it is for just for hookups. I mean, some people do get in long-term relationships from that, but
Yeah. And then,
I think that's mostly like the older generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a part of the older generation. Well, I'm in my mid to late 40s.
You are. Yeah.
He's calling me old. He's
No,
calling
no,
me.
but-
He's calling his mother old. That's
No.
okay.
But I did read something earlier that said millennials. You're a millennial. No, you're a Gen X.
I'm Gen X.
Well, you're close to millennial. So people close to your age, most people close to your age that use dating apps, a higher percentage of them have long-term relationships from the dating apps.
Yeah, but that's because we're looking. I'm sure people around my age were looking for committed relationships. They're past some people, not every. They're past the hookup stage.
Yeah.
They want something more. Yeah, I mean, I think like I never did a dating app. Dating was so different.
I've used it before.
Have you used Tinder?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
I'm not gonna go into you don't have
No, I wasn't. I never met anybody. I was just bored.
like
That's how. But that's what a lot of it is too. It's a lot of it. Just people want attention and want to talk to people. You know.
Yeah. Then
They're
why
not. They don't actually have any intention of meeting anybody, which I don't think I did either. But it was just out of boredom.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. I think that. Do you think people are just searching or looking too hard, and then because maybe they feel lonely, and so maybe they settle for people that they necessarily wouldn't maybe settle for. I don't know. Like maybe.
Well, I don't know about that. Again, that's not really how the app is used now.
I'm just talking about dating in general, though.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure that's been a thing forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
settling for less.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are like that. They don't want to be alone. But that can stem from childhood
Or
things
you
that go on.
you just need a man to buy your baby's diapers.
So then you're just looking for a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
So then, or a sugar mama. It could go both ways.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes younger men date older women who have money. They like the cougars.
But that doesn't happen as much. It's more the reverse. It's mostly younger women going after older men.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything.
I'm with an older man.
No, but I'm just saying there's a lot of women, just even in general and in my generation, a lot of women my age want older men, not necessarily because they just are trying to get something out of them, but
Right.
just because they're established most of the time. They have a house and a car.
Mhm.
They might have had kids or something, or not, you know, but they've lived a life and they're an actual adult. You know, they're not a 23-year-old that still lives with their parents. You know, they want somebody that's established, I guess, you know.
Shows some...
Which leaves a lot of men my age single because younger women, again, I said this yesterday, have higher standards.
Mhm.
So they don't even look for men in their own age group. And that's been a thing forever too.
Yeah.
You know, they want a man that's older, that has stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
But you're with someone older. So then
Yeah.
what's your rationale for being with someone who's older?
There's not a reason for it, you know.
So you
Which is
didn't go into it looking for somebody older. It was
No.
just kind of how it happened.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And when I first met her, I didn't think she was that much older than me,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I wasn't like thinking like, oh yeah, I want an older woman,
Yeah.
you know.
I had, and I'll share this, on the podcast, but yeah, I mean, I always dated older men. I always dated. I don't know if that's just like a thing for women to date older men than them, because we are looking for, I think, a provider. I don't know if that's just the rationale with some women or the majority of women, or if it, just kind of depends on the personality. But for me, like, I always dated someone that was older. I recognized later where that came from.
What's that?
It came from feeling abandoned.
Oh, from your father?
Yes, from my father not being there.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because I always was like, why am I dating? Because I mean, Johnny and I have 21 years between us. And it's kind of like, it's hard to admit, like, you're like, my gosh, I had some daddy issues. It's like really bad when it's kind of, but it's those epiphanies and those things that we need to be self-aware of, and why we make the choices we make and why we date the people we date and stay in relationships.
Yeah.
Like, what's the reason why we're attracted to a certain type of person? I mean, initially it's physical. Right, like that. There's an instant like physical attraction to someone,
unless you're asexual.
Okay, like we're gonna get into like, if you're
Do you
asexual,
even know what that means?
I know it. I think from like my middle school science class.
They taught you that in middle school in the 30s?
Yes, actually they did.
Let's get the 80s, 90s, whatever.
In the 90s.
I didn't know that was a thing
80s.
in the 90s.
They
Asexual.
talked about certain reptiles or amphibians being asexual. So when you're in school, they put it into you.
They didn't relate it to humans.
They didn't relate it to humans. It was related to animals or whatever. So yeah, but initially it's a physical connection, or you're physically attracted to people. However, kind of once people go through the honeymoon stage, when they're early in a relationship, that's when you have to get to know. That's when you really get to know the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you still in the honeymoon stage of your relationship?
I don't want to get too much into my personal life, but I wouldn't say we're in a honeymoon phase, but it's not like we've lost any attraction or anything.
Right. Yeah. I get that. No, it changes. There's stages of love and caring in relationships.
Yeah. There's hills and valleys,
peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys.
I
Whatever.
know that's a bad pet peeve of mine. I do that a lot. I just like correct
What's the
people.
difference?
It's just
the same thing.
It's the way it works in my head.
You know what I was trying to say. You know what I was saying.
Yes, I did. So, okay. So what do you think makes a healthy relationship? Do you have like when you think about, whenever we say healthy relationships, what does that term mean? What do you think?
What is a healthy relationship?
What is a healthy relationship?
That's a loaded question.
But it's an important question to ask, or for people to really start thinking about. What makes a healthy relationship?
Yeah. I'm only 23. I don't know anything.
Well,
just from what I've heard and what I've experienced, I guess these are all cliche answers, but trust, obviously. You have to be able to trust the person.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think?
How do you gain trust, though? You gain trust by people being honest.
Yeah.
There has to be honesty in the relationship, like up front. And this goes back to, me and Johnny have discussed this, like in, I think, the first episode of our podcast, and probably mentioned it in the second episode as well. But I remember I think it's important in a relationship is going in, each individual needs to know like what the expectations are.
Yeah.
And in the relationship, like, I remember Johnny kind of made me squirm. I remember us being at dinner in St. Louis at a restaurant, and he was like, and I was trying to tell him, like, I wanted to have like a monogamous relationship. Like, I was trying to say, I don't want to just date. Like, I want us to be in a monogamous relationship together.
Yeah.
And he was asking me, he goes, what are you looking for? Like, what do you want? And I remember when he asked me that, I'll never forget. He asked me that question. I was sitting there thinking like, I don't even know. I didn't know how to answer that question at first.
Yeah.
And then I said, I just want somebody who is nice, is going to care about me for me.
And is going to buy my kid new glasses when he breaks them.
And he did. Oh my gosh, he did. He bought Tristan his first pair of glasses, and I still remember that.
Well, yeah, after I was it my first pair?
No, he bought your very
first
first pair.
Yeah. And the pair when I broke them. Yeah.
You got a lot from Johnny. You were happy with him. But it was so funny because I told Johnny, I said, I'm looking for somebody who just wants to accept me for me. And who would, I remember the words I said, it's somebody who's going to go to bat for me and my kid, meaning like you don't get me without him.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's probably why, not to say we haven't had our problems over the years. We talked about that in the first episode of the podcast as well. But, I mean, we've been together all that time. And I think if you can lay that foundation early on in a relationship and what the expectation is from each other, you can build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so important to do that.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
But that's probably the old school in me. Because you're sitting here looking at me now like, I don't even know what to say. That's what you're saying. Oh. He's giving me that look right now. Like, what?
No, I just
like, ew, I don't want to hear about
yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of just zoned out for a minute.
See, he wasn't listening. This is the young, okay, so this is my child. I'm not going to say that this is the younger generation, but this is my child. This is
what do you mean?
This is what my child does to me. You're kind of, you know Charlie Brown, right?
Who?
You've heard?
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You don't know who Charlie Brown is?
Of course I do.
And Charlie Brown's teacher, who would always go, want, 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 want. Like, that's what my voice, I'm sure, sounds like.
No. I'm sorry. I'll do better at actively listening. I'm sorry.
So, oh, my God. That's another podcast. You're going to make me turn this podcast into something educational.
No, we don't need that.
Well, it's kind of what, I mean.
That's not fun.
I think it comes out naturally because I'm a counselor. And I do talk with people about not their specific relationships, but life. So,
yeah.
It just is natural. I'm sorry. Okay, so got that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's another part of dating that we talked about? We talked about the dating apps, interracial dating.
Yeah.
So, what about it? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't mind it. But a lot of people do.
Yes.
A lot of people are very against it still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for all races too.
It is. It's not just black and white.
Yeah.
Yes. That's very true.
A lot of races don't like that. If you know, someone's daughter doesn't bring home a Mexican guy and it's a black guy, a lot of people will be very angry in that family. That's just how it is still today. It's kind of crazy, but
it is. I think it's just, that's because racism will never go away. And people's perspective. So it goes back to the quote we said. If you can't change something, then you change your attitude about it.
Yeah.
Right? And so don't complain about it though. And yeah, I mean, like I said, me and Johnny also hit on this topic with the interracial dating too.
Yeah.
Earlier on in first episode of our podcast, I think. But yeah, it's just, I don't mind interracial dating, of course, because I'm married to I'm married to a white guy, but I've always have engaged in like interracial relationships.
Yeah.
And I was always the one that I never sought them. It just is sometimes who you attract. And so I think sometimes people are just too focused on the superficial, and I guess you can't help who you love.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Or what the heart wants what it wants, as they say.
Of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have this thing where like, this is especially with Black Americans
Mm-hmm.
and the whole Pan-African thing. You know what that is, don't you?
No.
Pan-Africanism? I don't know what it is either, but I heard about it.
We probably need to
But-
do more research before we come on this podcast and say things.
Well, this just came up in my head, but
Yeah.
a lot of black people in particular are worried about black men and black women getting with white people
Okay.
because, how do I describe it? It's like a thing where like they feel like the black race is getting erased if you are getting with someone that is not black. And that
Yes.
if you and they think, some people think that you cannot be pro-black if you are not married to or in a relationship with a black person and make black children
Yeah. Okay.
to continue the race,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yes. What are your thoughts on that? What's your perspective on that? Does it seem like it's nationalism?
Nationalism? I don't know
Mhm.
if it's a nationalism. I think people that think like that are genuinely worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're even necessarily racist or hate other races. I think they're like genuinely worried about black people getting erased.
Mm.
You know?
Okay.
Because even on social media, you'll see like Patrick Mahomes, for instance,
Yes.
the quarterback, right? People
Yes.
put pictures on Twitter. Like he has a black father
Yes.
and a white mother.
Yes.
So they'll put his dad, a picture of his dad is black. Then
Yeah.
a picture of Patrick, he's mixed, but
Right.
he looks, black. He could pass as
They
a
could
black
pass for
person.
black. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then a picture of his children
Yes.
who look completely white
White.
because he's with a white woman.
Yes.
And then they
Yes.
post, oh man, they just got all the black out of that gene pool,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And like people are actually worried about that kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know?
And I never know. I think that's very interesting. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's like you. People did not believe you were my son for the longest time.
Yeah, they thought I was albino.
They did. Well, that came from one of my aunties. But yeah, I was like, Tristan's not albino. No, he's just, I'm light skinned. I think there's probably Caucasian somewhere on my dad's side
yeah, of
down the
course.
line.
Of course.
Because I have an uncle that had like blue eyes and very, very fair skin, like light skin like you.
Yeah.
But of course you're half Caucasian and you're half black. So when Tristan was born, I was like, oh, I just want a baby that I wanted you to have hazel eyes. I remember that. I wanted you to have hazel eyes.
I'm sorry I disappointed
I
you.
know you're not.
I'm sorry.
Not a disappointment, but I mean, whenever people, just because you brought that up, like whenever people would see you, I still remember whenever you were, I don't even know if you were 2 months old at this point, maybe, but we were in Walmart and this guy comes up and he was like, oh my gosh, he was like, the baby is so cute. And then he turns around and he looks at me and mom and he looks at me and he goes, oh, he's yours? And I mean, because Tristan looked like a white baby. I mean, you did not look, no, you just will always, you're beautiful, but
Well, thank you.
you are. But Tristan had the bluest eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's got blue eyes. So cute. So yeah. So you're like in an interracial relationship.
I guess so.
I guess it would be coined as that. I don't know. You're half African American and half,
Yeah.
Caucasian. But
Yeah, I guess it's interracial, but
yeah. But who
it doesn't
cares?
look like that.
It doesn't look like it, no, because you physically don't. But then there's characteristics that you have where people are like, no, he's mixed with something.
Yeah.
So yeah, but and then with Patrick Mahomes, sometimes I feel sorry for them. He'd be getting straight up heat.
Yeah, it's
about his wife and his kids.
But all the
it's just
NFL players, all
crazy.
the athletes that have
That kind of
all the-
segues into what we wanted to talk about.
all the black athletes that have white girlfriends, they just get roasted.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Do you know who Robert Griffin III is?
Yes, I think so.
He was a quarterback for what used to be the Redskins. He's a
Oh
pretty good
no, I
player.
don't know him. Sorry.
He's a black quarterback. Was a black quarterback for the Redskins.
Yeah.
And he has a white girlfriend. But the weird thing is that he like brags about having a white girlfriend. Like he'll
Okay.
post on Twitter like, "Yeah, I got a white girl, yeah." Like, I don't know, that's not verbatim, but he posts stuff like that on Twitter,
Yeah,
which
that's crazy.
that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, it is.
Like showing her as like a prize or like a trophy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But you're trolling people at that point. Like you're just trying to
He
bait
might be.
people,
He might.
you know?
Yeah. He
I
might
mean,
be.
it's what it sounds like to
Because
me.
people roast him for it, so he's just gonna like.
He's like, oh, you don't like that? Okay, well, here, I'm just going to keep kind of talking about it and
Yeah.
fueling the flames or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just don't think, sometimes it's amazing because certain people they can get desensitized to certain things. But interracial dating or black men with white women and vice versa, or a black woman with anyone that is, or a white woman with an Asian guy or whatever it is, like people are not desensitized to that. Like they still get, but you know,
Yeah. It's still weird to them. For
it's
some
still
reason.
strange. Like, why are you with someone
Who doesn't look like you?
yes, yeah,
Do you not like yourself?
right,
People think of it as that,
Interesting.
like, oh, you don't like. Aren't you with a black woman? You don't like black people, or
yeah, mm-hmm.
you don't want to make black children.
Right, yeah,
You know.
it is, yeah, and then they're like, oh, like all the white women are taking the black men, and it's like, yeah, you know, it's just,
Would you consider yourself pro-black?
I am proud of my black heritage. Yes. You know, what I say, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not ever, because I can't say like I would never have dated anybody outside of my race.
Yeah.
And I think I had, but yeah, I'm absolutely proud of
Yeah.
African American heritage and culture and everything. But I think it's, but I remember my personal experience, like I did not have the best experiences
Mm-hmm.
being in relationships with.
With black guys.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's not like I wouldn't. I'm just saying and then
Yeah, that's
by
just
the
what
time
you
I met,
experienced.
it was just my experience then.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time, it was so interesting because at that point in time, I was just, so I've dated black men. Okay. But it was just like at that time right before I met Johnny, it was, I'm done and I'm just going to be to myself. Like
Mhm.
I did not want a relationship. I was not looking for a relationship. And then just there it was.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think whenever we're not searching or trying to find someone because we're lonely is when you do find that thing that you're looking for.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens for you. But yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So you always ask me these questions. Whenever people hear it, they're going to be like, what? You're not? What do you mean you had bad experiences? But it was just the individual. It's not like
You're not
all
putting
black
it on
men are
all-
like that.
yeah,
No, it's
of course not.
in no way all black men. No, because I think black men are very attractive.
Yeah.
But it was just my experience then.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. It is. So, and then we wanted to talk about also you wanted to mention the NFL draft.
Well, yeah.
and-
Well, we were
and
just talking about the
kind of-
interracial. And
yes.
people were killing these guys because they were sitting on the couch with their white girlfriends.
yes, yes.
You know,
Mhm.
people were very upset.
They were, yeah.
They're very upset about it.
They're like, oh, they're going to be gold diggers. Oh no, I mean, like they were.
Some of them will be, I'm sure.
Well,
But
yeah, but there are people who are not famous and not in the NFL, and they're with women who are using them for whatever.
yeah,
That I mean, I think it's just you're dating who you want to date.
yeah,
I mean, you don't know that individual. Is all people are looking just at the superficial.
yeah. Well, a lot of
It's-
people look at it as if black men see white women as a prize or like a trophy,
Yeah,
and they're downgrading black women.
women.
I think
yes,
that's how a lot of.
I see it.
I don't want to speak for black women, but I'm just saying
Mhm.
from what I've seen, that's how a lot of them see that.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know.
Which I mean, I could I could see that, but these are people that they probably have been with for a while, but it's like, why do you have to go? And they don't, but what I have found is like, they don't blame the man all the time. They're blaming the white woman.
Yeah, that white devil.
Yeah. It's for, why is she always up in the black man's face and things like that. And it's just like, no, people have free will and people make choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that any black woman should be like, I don't know how I'm going to value myself because this black man over here is with this white woman.
Yeah.
And why are you allowing that to impact how you feel about yourself? You know what I'm saying? That you don't find your own value in something that somebody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That is not how that works. And if you are doing that, you need to take some time
Mm-hmm.
for yourself and do some self-reflection.
Yeah.
You don't find your own value in what other people are doing.
Unfortunately, that's what people do.
We do. Yeah, they do. I know.
Yeah.
I can say it where it sounds so great, but kind of. But yeah, I mean, that is, I don't think that people should find or be like, oh my gosh, then what's wrong with us because they're with somebody else? Oh, they're with them because they want to be with them.
Yeah.
What are you doing for yourself? And why do you feel like it's downgrading your race? And
yeah, there's plenty of black men out there.
Absolutely. But then, like, I don't want that one. I want that one that plays for the New York Jets.
Yeah, and again, that's the standards thing. Like, there's a lot of women.
Yes.
There's a lot of women that only date athletes, and they all pass around the same ones. All the athletes and the rappers, baseball players, basketball players, they all pass around the same 100 girls or so, and those are the only kind of people that they will allow themselves to be with.
Yeah.
Or someone of that high standard, someone that makes that kind of money, lives that kind of lifestyle.
They're looking for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
if that's what you want to do and you don't want to, settle down and have a family and you just want to date a guy that's going to give you $10K a week to spend time with him. I mean, that's how a lot of people make a living like that, and that's their lifestyle.
They do.
But
then are you really happy and content? Some people find joy and happiness in that. They really do.
I don't.
But that's why we played the Al Green song, Love and Happiness. It is, they are interconnected. And I just don't think that, I could not, is it great to have financial stability? Yeah, but I don't want to be with someone, just be like, okay, just give me $10,000 a week and I'll spend time with you.
Well, that's an escort.
Well, yeah, that is an escort. But even people who are in those types of relationships and they, and who would want to be passed around like that? That just sounds so dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just using people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no connection.
Yeah.
There has to be connection with people.
Mm-hmm.
We are humans. We have to have connection with each other in some form.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't,
but there's a lot of people that won't allow themselves to have a connection with people that like make less money than them. I've heard other people talk about this on other podcasts.
Yeah.
Like they would ask you, would you date a bus driver? Maybe a woman that's making decent money, maybe more than a bus driver. It asks you, would you date a bus driver? And a lot of them will say no. If he owns the bus company.
He's the CEO.
Yeah.
Or even CFO.
Yeah.
And it's just so you're judging somebody based off of what they do for a living.
Mm-hmm. But it's not just that. I think a lot of women in particular don't want to be the breadwinner in a relationship. A lot of women want I'd say generally women want a man that makes more money than them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that they can be taken care of.
Yeah.
And
but I think that's just like an internal, like human thing, too.
To want to be taken care of.
Because men have always been providers.
Yes. Yeah. True. But that's like a 1950s, 40s, and 50s.
Well, no, well, yeah, it's like
stigma. But
culturally, yes.
Society, yes. It's societal, yes. There was kind of that the man goes to work and takes care of everything financially and is the breadwinner. But then
Yeah.
you had, like women's lib, like, and there was like this boom of women that entered the workforce in the 70s and 80s, and it was empowering
Yeah.
for them to be able to take care of themselves. So it's interesting where that was such a huge thing for women then.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now it's kind of maybe still the same, but I don't know if it's shifting. I don't know. But I mean, I don't mind working. I like having my own money.
Yeah.
Even though bills take a lot of it, but I do like having my own money. But then, yeah, it's always nice if you can have someone in your life who can also help you financially.
Yeah, I understand
and be a
that.
partner with you. But I don't want somebody to be, because to me, that's a sugar daddy. That's who
Well,
that
not.
is to
Well,
me.
it's not. Well, no, it's not. I don't.
Or
think
you're
it's
being
that.
kept. You're being kept. That's what that is. Do you know what that means?
What do you mean?
You've never heard of a kept man or a kept woman?
No.
So they just pay everything for you.
Oh well, yeah.
And then, they put you up in a, apartment house, pay for your clothes.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that kind of woman. I mean, like a woman that just wants.
Or a man.
I'm not saying there's even anything wrong with it necessarily, but a lot of people in general just want somebody that's at least up to their standards financially.
Yeah, okay,
know?
I get you. Yes.
And they won't take anyone that makes less money than them
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they're afraid they'll get upset and be insecure about it because they make more money, especially if the man, most of the time, if the man makes less money,
Yeah.
they might be insecure about it,
Mm-hmm.
that their woman is the one paying
I
the
think
bills.
that's true. Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think men or a woman could feel that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. But I mean, what do you do, at that point? But that goes back to people need to have self-reflection. And where's that coming from? Seriously. I mean, you need to be confident. If you're going into a relationship with somebody and this individual may make more money or have a better career, whatever, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
And if you're just saying, oh, yeah, I'm comfortable with it, but then your actions are contradicting what you're saying, then you're not confident.
You've
within
definitely got to
yourself.
be able to handle that, especially as a man, because men are very prideful, obviously,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and like not being able to, pay all the bills or whatever. Like men will get insecure about that.
Yeah. I know. They will. But women can too.
But not as much though. Although there are a lot of women nowadays who say, I don't need no man.
Yeah. Yes, I can make it on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, like, it's just like, I know I would be okay. If anything happened to Johnny, I would be okay.
Yeah.
I could take care of what I need to take care of. It doesn't mean like, I'm like, I don't need no man. No, I want a man in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not from a financial standpoint. But yes, I get what you're saying. There are women out there who will say those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that could be from their own past experiences, with past relationships and why they have that mindset. There's a lot of different things that kind of factor into that.
And I think it's
mentality.
mostly, again, I don't know anything. Don't take my opinion seriously. I'm just talking.
You can.
But-
you made some really good. No, but you've made some really good points. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 23 years old. It doesn't mean that you don't have a good perspective or a healthy perspective on
Yeah.
relationships.
Again, I don't know anything, but I'm just, I want to bring up the women feeling like they don't need a man. You see a lot of that in the black community.
Okay.
Black women wanting to be strong, independent women.
Yes.
And I think that goes back to, I don't want to get too conspiracy theoried out here, but the crack boom in the 80s.
Yes.
A lot of people, I mean it was the government, the CIA did actually flood the streets with crack.
Yes.
But a lot of people think that it was to destroy the black family or the nuclear family in the black community, right?
Yes.
So you take
Yes.
out the man gets hooked on crack, or he's selling crack, so he's either out on the streets smoking dope, or he's in prison.
Yes.
Now you're just stuck with a single mother that's having to raise kids and be a strong, independent woman.
Yes.
She has no choice but to do it on her own.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saw their moms grow up like that, a lot of women, and they felt like they had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because that's just what they saw,
Yes.
you know.
Very true. Yeah.
And, I mean, and you grew up with a single mother.
Yeah, I did.
With 5 kids.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I did. And now if you and now if I've asked mom if she would ever date again, she's like, no. And if I did, they would have to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Basically, she would have to be bought.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, but that comes from her experiences and relationships. She lost a husband and was widowed years ago. But yeah, I mean but mom always did. Like, she had to work, and then I saw my oldest sister work and help mom, and and then she would buy mom things, and it kind of took a lot of the pressure off of mom. Being the youngest in the family that I am, it's seeing this sort of work ethic, and that, hey, you can, but I never took it as like you have to be strong and do, but she was doing what she needed to do to take care of all of her kids. And I saw her, pay for a house on her own, raise 5 kids, take us every year to amusement parks. And I mean, she always provided at the time, and things were a lot cheaper then.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, yeah, you do get the mentality that it's like, I can do this on my own, and I have to do what I got to do. The Black woman's mantra, her motto is, I'm doing what I got to do.
Yeah.
But you're not doing what you want to do in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the narrative and that's where it needs to change.
Yeah.
So I'm at an age now where I'm like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. And you should.
Like, start this podcast.
Yeah.
And not sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
and go to art museums and just do the things I want to do, because I have worked and I'm still working hard at things. And you can do both. You can, we can have balance in our life.
Yeah.
You can work hard and do what you want to do and take care of your financial responsibilities. And then you can also enjoy your life. And, if you're single and you end up having a relationship, I think when you're not looking for those things is when it happens.
They come, yeah.
Is when it comes, yeah. Because I was done. I was like, I'm not dating nobody. I'm tired. And nobody's good out there. That's how I felt at the time. And I was just trying to focus on you.
Yeah.
Because you were still very young. And was getting my life together, And then here comes Johnny on his little ride and water cart.
What?
At the factory I was working at.
Just leave it there.
Yeah. He was a sweeper. He's on this little, it cleaned the floors in the factory that we worked.
Oh, I don't know what you were talking about. I was like, is that a car or something?
No, I called it a water cart. Because it just like swept and mopped up the floor, and he would just drive by, and kind of stalkerish a little bit. But yeah. It just kind of happened, and we met, and then he met you. And I think that's what sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm.
He really liked you, even though you were pretty spoiled rotten.
Bull crap.
You're still like that.
Not true.
You wanted to go to the zoo, and he took you to the zoo.
Yeah, because you were never going to take me.
I didn't have a car. I couldn't take you. Are you going to take me to? That's what you asked him all the time. It was so sweet. I wish I had him.
Yeah.
He took you to your first wrestling match to see John Cena. Do you remember that?
Of course I remember that.
And you were this little kid probably had just, you just had a heart attack as soon as you heard John Cena's music. We went to Monday Night Raw.
It was John Cena. It was peak John Cena.
It was.
2006.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't believe I was actually seeing him.
Yeah. You were like, oh my gosh. Yes. That was the Monday Night Raw draft or something like that. It was pretty cool. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
That was an awesome time. So yeah. So we can't have, healthy relationships, and good things can come out of
Well, eventually we won't need people to have healthy relationships.
Of course. The connection. It goes back to what you were saying about the connection
Yeah.
that people may not want.
Yeah.
So I'll let you do this segment.
I wrote this topic on the board.
Yes. We'll go to your topic that's on our whiteboard.
Sex robots are starting to innovate. They're getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in relationships with sex robots.
Yeah.
And I think there actually already is some.
Yes. So it's so interesting because after you had mentioned this, that you wanted to talk about this, and I was scrolling through my phone, and I actually saw where there's like a picture of a woman laying down with a robot, and it says like people are going to be having sex with robots within like the next 10 years or something like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just, I'm sorry. I'm having a very difficult time wrapping my head around this topic. It is just, I just know.
What do you mean, no?
No. And I told you, we talked about this. Go ahead and get your vape. You want me to get your vape?
Yeah, can you grab it, please? I'm sorry, I'm an addict. I'm sorry. It's like a fidget toy for me.
He's sitting here like this. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like trying to look. He's going like this with his foot.
I'm sorry.
Why do I see mother? It's still taking care of you and getting things for you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So yeah, I told you this when we talked about this the other night, that I said I would not. I love human connection and talking to people. And I don't see how you're going to get any sort of connection with a robot. I'm sorry. It's just not, I can't get with that. It would be so difficult. No.
You can have a connection with a dog. I mean, that
is a dog a robot? Like a dog has freaking a heart.
There are robot dogs.
You know,
that you can buy.
No, a dog has a heart.
Yeah, but a robot it'll be programmed to have a heart.
No, it's not like a human. No, I'm sorry.
No, it's not like a human, but it's a different form of intelligence.
Yeah.
That will behave very much like a human.
I just don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know enough about it. I guess I'm going to have to do more research on it along with everything else.
There's some great developments in this area. They're becoming very realistic.
You know what I think?
What do you think?
I think that, people coming up with, I get like technologically, like we have to be more advanced. I get that. I get it. In this area, I completely disagree. And I think it's a way for people, because I hear a lot of people say, people I work with, I hear people say like, they don't like to be around people and they just like to not isolate, but they just don't want to deal with society and people socially.
Yeah. And
so this just kind of gives these innovators and people who are really into AI this niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be like, okay, well, let's create something where people don't have to be judged by others. They don't have to feel like they need to be accepted. We're going to create something where it's going to accept you no matter what. And it's a way to maybe for the human to connect, but I want to have it reciprocated. I don't see how a robot could ever reciprocate love, or it's just not going to happen. That's me. Maybe I'm closed-minded with it a little bit, but I don't see how that.
I think it'll be pretty close to being human, honestly, in the future.
Will it be like Megan? The moving Megan?
The moving Megan?
The movie Megan?
Is Megan moving?
Megan.
I didn't watch it, but I remember it.
It has the doll that's like pretty much alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll be pretty close to that in the next.
I don't know. That's creepy. If you have not watched the movie Megan, watch it. You may not want to have sex robots.
Yeah. But I think, again, they're mostly for people who might be ostracized. So they don't really fit in with people socially. They're very introverted, anxious. They like to be alone. They have a hard time making connections with other people.
Yeah.
So, I have this machine or this doll that I can make a connection with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen.
I can see that perspective.
I don't remember what show it was. It was a TLC show, I think. This guy. This was from years ago too. He's in a relationship with a doll, and it's not even like a robot. It's just like a doll.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of those real dolls or something. I don't know. But
You know where this all started? Siri.
what?
Yes. And people would be like, "Ooh, when Siri talks to me, it's so sexy."
No, nobody said
Let me
that.
change it. Let me change it to where it's a woman and not like.
They have a bunch of different voices.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. It did. You don't think I'm crazy for saying that, but
I mean, maybe that's a part of it. I don't know.
it
But-
started with Siri.
Maybe so.
It did.
Maybe so.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, I think whenever people do feel ostracized, yeah, they want to feel a connection with something. It's probably
people-
not by choice.
There was a guy that was in a relationship with his car. Seriously.
I just don't know.
I think it was the same show and it was real. I don't remember what kind of car it was. I think it was red.
What was the car's name?
I don't remember. It was like a clip I saw on TikTok or something. But yeah, he was in a relationship with his car and I think he did stuff to it.
I don't know. I don't want to know what kind of stuff he did to his car. That is the. I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
I think he did.
I'm
It was
trying
kinda
not
weird.
to.
But there's people like that out there that are gonna buy these robots.
Yeah, rich
know?
people. Ain't no poor people going to be able to afford a
Well, I don't think
robot.
I don't think either of those two guys were very rich. But no, those dolls are pretty expensive. I've looked.
Yeah, people who
You can
have money.
you can customize them. I've been on the website.
Oh my god.
They're not really robots yet. I mean, the top end ones I think can kind of say a few
I know
words.
what it's going to be like. Have you seen the movie Jason X?
Yeah, not in years though.
Do you remember the android, the lady, the red-haired, like she was a computer. She was a robot, but she looked completely human.
Yeah, I don't remember, but
Go back and watch it. And you'll be
Okay.
like, "Oh, that's exact." So they were already planting in our minds like this is what we're going to be bringing into the world.
oh, robots have always been a thing.
I know, but like that human, it's just like I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that happening, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird, but
Kinda.
yeah.
To me, it is. I think I'm just older fashioned. This is why we talk like this.
Well, no, I'm not saying I would get one. I'm not
I'm
going to
not
get
saying.
one. Don't call me like I'm the one that's rooting for this. I'm just saying that's what's happening in the world, and that's what's going to happen probably in the next 10 years. There's going to be
Very
people
true.
that have robot maids and, robot girlfriends. There's already people that have digital girlfriends. Like, I forget what the app is called, but it's like a chat bot that you can talk to. And people have a relationship with this chat bot,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it ties into what we've been talking about, like with the healthy relationships. It's like, what kind of relationship is that? I mean, how would you define it?
It's the relationship of the future.
It's the relationship of the future. That is that is what it is called.
We're all eventually going to be robots.
Healthy
anyway.
relationships of the future.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I will that would no. I want to speak to a human.
You should really see the real. I'm going to show you the website later. They have male ones too.
Okay.
You got to see it.
I just oh my gosh.
You can customize every part of it. They have different presets, different sizes of things,
Ugh,
different color hair, eyes, color, everything.
weird. It would creep me out.
Yeah, I think the high end ones are like 10 grand. I think.
Yeah, it's gonna creep me out. No, thank you. I'm good.
You need to see what the future beholds.
I can see what the future beholds, but I don't have to engage in it.
Well, no, I'm not telling you to get one. I'm just saying you should see where this is heading.
God save us. I'm just saying. I mean, I get like you're gonna spend like government money or whatever or grants are funded from whoever to do this stuff. It's like, why don't you do it to where it's benefiting the American people. I just don't understand how.
Well, I don't think the government has anything to do with it.
Well,
These are private
private funding,
businesses.
right? Yeah, private businesses, whatever. You don't know what the government's doing, but anyway, that's another show. But yeah, I disagree with it. But I get what you're saying. Like
I say let people be happy and have their little robot friends.
their little robot friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, people should I agree with you on that point that people should do what makes them happy, but I think it's,
What would you say if I brought a robot home?
I would say get it out of my house.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You wouldn't let me have a robot?
No.
Why
I'd be
not?
like, if you want to have a robot, go get your own apartment and have your robot there.
Really? Why?
Because I wouldn't want it here.
It's just a big doll.
It is
life-size. It's just a life-size doll.
Trika would bark at that thing and she would be like, get it out of here. No. I'd be like, if you want a robot, you go get your own house or own apartment or condo or whatever, and you go have your robot.
That's
but you're
not-
not
but
gonna
no,
have it in
but
my house.
Besides that, if I was one of those people that fell in love with a robot and I brought it home for you to meet, what would you think?
I don't know, because I would have to wait until I was in that situation. So I'm not going to do a hypothetical. You got me on this with the OJ stuff last week.
What do you mean? I'm just asking you what you would think. Would you think I had gone crazy, or
I would just be like, you're kidding.
you would think I was kidding?
Yes.
What if I proposed to it in front of you?
Okay, no, we're not going down this road. You did this last week. I'm going to cut you off right there. No. Just, I'd be like, well, like I said, you have your own place. You do what you want. Just don't bring it up in my house. I don't know. But that's how it is. So I think we got through everything. What's our time right now?
We're at over an hour.
Okay. So
Let's end on sex robots.
no. Yes, I guess so. Yes. Very interesting. So, but I think it does. I think you make a very great point, though. It is all about connection, and the future, I think, is moving towards people not
Being connected.
being connected emotionally.
Yeah.
I do. People don't like to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. And if I can program it and tell you how I want you to talk to me and treat me,
Yeah.
then I don't have to wonder how you feel. And if I know what's coming. And that just kind of takes, I don't know, it just doesn't, I don't know, it's just, I don't think it's the best direction for our future to go into, although I know it's going that way. But
Yeah.
I'm all about human connection and love. So you know me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's what
Yeah.
counselors do.
I guess.
Yeah. I do. I am. I'm sometimes probably, I know Johnny will hear me talking sometimes. He's like, oh my gosh. He was like, you're so loud. And I'm like, I know. And he's like, and you're laughing. And I'm like, I know. Because I have to, when you have to lift people up sometimes, they need that.
Yeah.
And that's that connection. So even though I'm seeing clients virtually all the time, there's still a hint of there's still some sort of connection you can feel through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, people just don't like to connect in person a lot anymore.
Well, the pandemic
It's just-
changed that a lot too.
It did, but I think people just didn't want to get sick. They didn't
I don't
want
think
to
it was
die.
that. I don't think, but I
But
don't think it wasn't just that though, because there's a lot of people that were socially anxious already before, and now I don't have to go outside, and I can hide my face when I'm out, so nobody can see my face.
yeah.
A lot of people, there's still people wearing masks, not because they're afraid of getting sick, but because it's just become comfortable for them to hide
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah, I was so glad when, they lifted everything after COVID, and yeah. So I just don't want to live life. To me, that's and everybody's different. These are just my opinions. But yeah, I mean, I want to live a life where I'm connecting in person with other people.
Yeah.
It's important to do that.
Yeah.
Because
it
I
is.
think whenever you are isolated and you're kind of away and you're just doing your own thing, and when you're around people, you're like, oh my gosh. I think people forget how to interact with each other.
They do. It for sure.
And they're just kind of like, huh, what? I don't know what to say or
Yeah.
do. And I think we need to get back to being comfortable with being in the presence of other people in person.
Yeah.
If you want to do that. But I think people should. And I think this idea of sex robots or just robots, people connecting with robots in general, I mean, it's just that those are coming from people who want to stay disconnected. That's my thought and opinion on that.
Well, at least they're finding connection somewhere, even if it's a machine.
It's kind of like how people are like, well, as long as I'm drinking alcohol or using drugs, I'm feeling connected some kind of way to something. I'm feeling connected to the substance.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Kind of is.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
We can agree to disagree, as they say. Okay. So, do you have any last thoughts on relationships that you want to tell anybody?
No, I don't actually. I
Mm.
just know that I'm in a great relationship, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Me and Johnny are going to hit 21 years together on Memorial Day.
It's a long time.
It is. And this is how long we've been together. Every year, we both forget to celebrate our wedding anniversary.
Yeah, I have to remind you guys every time. Literally every time. Last year, it was like weeks later, and you guys were like, "Why didn't you remind us?" Like, what? You should know this. Like, that's crazy.
We did. We told Tristan, we were like, why didn't you remind us? Tristan has reminded us of our anniversary by saying happy anniversary. We're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It is our anniversary. Hi, babe. Happy anniversary. I love you. And yeah, now we just don't. And it's not because we don't love each other. It's just we are so comfortable where we're at in our relationship that it's just another day. We're just grateful. We're grateful our relationship has lasted this long.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So it just kind of goes to show you can get through anything.
Yeah.
But we're coming up on 21 years
Mm-hmm.
that we've actually been in a relationship. Actually, Memorial Day was like our first date.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. 21 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be with somebody.
That it is.
That's because, you know why?
Why?
Because you have connection. Human connection. So important. So
I guess so.
yes. So that's where I'll leave that. Always want to have it. Like I said, we gave all the information about the podcast in the beginning. Did you drop your vape again?
I'm sorry, I'm clumsy.
Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you today?
I don't know. I think I'm losing my motor skills or something.
It's probably. Did you not eat today or what?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so that's what parents always say. What's wrong with you? Did you eat today?
I know.
Like
think
food
so.
cures everything, right? So there was something I wanted to say at the end of this, and it just kind of went completely out of my head. So
Must have not been that important then, huh?
I know it actually was, but obviously it'll come to me. It will come to me later.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I knew I was supposed to say that. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of end it with some more Al Green. Do you want to take us out with some Al Green? And then
Love and happiness.
just remember everybody that as Don Cornelius would say from Soul Train, remember peace, soul, and love.